Hi, gang. Welcome back. My name is Marion, and today is day 19 of the Costco Wine Adventure Advent Calendar. There's the box right there for you. All right, so today we are heading over to Hungary. We're going to be trying Paannonia. This is a 51% Zenit and 49% Grüner Veltliner blend. So you can see the label right there. It's a cute little label with a hair. All right, now on the back, remember to go ahead and scan your QR code if you're drinking along. If not, I will drop today's link into the description for you. All right, let's jump right in. You probably just heard the grapes that I mentioned, the Zenit and the Grüner Veltliner. What the heck is that? Well, let's start with Grüner. So Grüner Veltliner actually translates to the green wine of Veltlin. Now, Veltlin was an area of the Lower Alps during the 1600s, but it's now part of Italy in the area of Veltlina. This is a great exotic alternative to Sauvignon Blanc. The grape has high acidity, tropical flavors of citrus notes like lime, lemon, grapefruit, and nectarine. The wine style of the Grüner Veltliner is meant to be consumed young, so within 1 to 2 years of being bottled. Now, the Zenit grape. This was actually developed in 1951 by Dr. Frenick Coralli. Now, this is a cross between Ezerijo and Bouvier grapes. These grapes are actually ripened very early in the year, so they can be harvested earlier than a lot of the other grapes. And they have very crisp, acidic notes with high sugar levels. Now, because of those high sugar levels, that makes the Zenit grape a perfect candidate for late harvest sweet dessert wines. Now, both of these wines are great candidates for something like a pork chop and chicken dishes, specifically ones that are breaded, cordon bleu, or breadcrumb crusted pork chops like tonkatsu or Wiener Schnitzel. Now let's talk about a little bit of history of, you see on the label here, it says Dunantu, and that's in Hungary. Now, supposedly, in the 5th century, the Romans brought wine to Paannonia, but this is very heavily disputed online. There are accounts that grape cultivation was happening in that area long before Julius Caesar. So it's kind of hard to tell when it actually was happening there. But in 1882, just like everywhere else across Europe, the phylloxera aphid infestation was decimating the areas, eating up the rootstock. Along with that, 2 world wars and communism in the area, it basically brought this winemaking region to a standstill. During the communism reign in the area, what happened was the Communist Party would come in, they'd take over these family farms, and they did not care about quality wines. All they cared about was quantity. So they would just pump out garbage wine. They didn't care about, the correct way to make wine. So a lot of this knowledge was lost. But after the fall of the Berlin Wall, around 1989, there was a renaissance in winemaking and wine industry in this area. So now they're sending their young people to go get educated by amazing winemakers. They're bringing back all of this knowledge, and these family farms are operating again, making fantastic, amazing wines. I do recommend to you that if you go to your wine store, look for a Hungarian wine. Specifically, the whites are fantastic, but they also have reds. Now let's talk about why they have such great wines there. And that has to deal with the geography and the terroir of the region. Now, the region is a mix of plains, hills, and mountains. There's volcanic and limestone mountain ranges. There's salty and sandy flatlands that are comprised of red sandstone. This offers an excellent terroir for grape growing. Now, the mountainous regions create a temperate zone, which means that a lot of those snowstorms can't come over those high mountain ranges. And that cold air does not get over them, it's just stopped by that mountain range. It also has ample amounts of rainfall, but there's also subalpine climates, which means very, very short growing seasons in certain areas. So, perfect for those very sweet ice wines. And also, those areas of subalpine have very balanced rainfall. All of these options and microclimates are perfect for grape growing. So, you can get all sorts of different types of style of wine from this Hungarian region. Now, let's go ahead and let's jump in and take a look at this wine. As you can see already from my glass, this is a pretty light wine. Beautiful color. If you hold it up to a white piece of paper, which you'll see when people are doing wine tastings, they'll take a piece of white paper or they'll turn their tasting menu over and they'll look at the color of the wine. That is what they're doing. They're using the white paper as a canvas to look at the wine to actually see the color and judge the color. This looks yellow, but it's actually more of a greenish color. It's very beautiful. All right. Now remember, we want to spin it. We want to get those oxygen molecules in there to break up the molecules in the wine, release the aromas and flavonoids out of there. Lots of fruity citrus notes right off the bat. Spice and green pepper notes as well. Let's give it a taste. Remember to switch it. You want to hit every single area of your palate, side, front, and back. Now, another thing that you might see seasoned wine drinkers do is they take a sip of wine and they slurp. Let me show you. The reason why they're doing them is what we've talked about before. It's basically smelling through in the mouth. What happens is, instead of this, they're putting the wine in their mouth, they're bringing in oxygen. The oxygen is running over the liquid and it's bringing those aromas to the back. It's allowing us to taste and smell the wine before swallowing it. You pick up extra notes like spice and vegetal flavors that you wouldn't necessarily get if you just put the wine in your mouth, swished it around, and swallowed. It looks funny, but I will tell you, in practice, it does work pretty well. All right, let's get back to it. It's very fruity, very vegetable flavors. And what I mean by vegetal, I mean like green pepper type notes. It's got a long mineral finish. You can definitely tell that this was grown in a very rocky place. You can almost hear that trickling water down the rock, wherever this was grown. Definitely transports you to a place of beauty and nature. There's also a spice and citrus. Very interesting mouthfeel. You get a lot of the structure right here on the front of the tongue. Even though the grapes for both of these are very acidic, you are not getting that gushy, acidic mouthfeel. So it seems like these two grapes have really balanced each other out. So you're going to get a lot of those citrus fruity notes, tropical fruit notes, a little bit of apple, but you also get that green pepper-ish, kind of that vegetal, earthy type notes as well. I'm definitely going to stick with chicken and pork with this one. Definitely the pork chop, the breaded pork chop, the cordon bleu. You can also do different cheeses with this. I'm going to say you can step it up a notch with this. Obviously, don't go brie and blue cheese with this, but you can do your little bit heavier cheddars. You can do your manchego, your Comté type cheeses. You can do some really cool, interesting cheeses with this one because the flavors are really, really robust and fantastic. It has a nice long finish. So this is something that you can also sit around and enjoy and continue to have a nice long finish. You know, this wine brings me a lot of joy. It makes me feel like, okay, this is a sociable wine. I want to sit on my porch and share this with my friends. I want to sit down and I want to eat this with my family and savor this wine with some food. So that's kind of where this wine takes me. Very happy, joyous, you know, going out and talking and being with friends, very sociable. But it also transports me to a place where I'm seeing birds and pine cones and pine and lots of beautiful vineyards with these beautiful little houses on the hill. I really, really enjoyed this wine. Definitely enjoyed this wine today. And as I was saying before, if you get a chance to find a Hungarian wine, I do suggest that you go try and find them. Oh. So this is the piece that did not survive from my box. 19 and 22. So let's go ahead and pop out 19 today. As I said before, there's lots of information on Hungarian wines on the internet. So I highly recommend that you go and look. I'll drop a few in the description for you to make it a little bit easier on you. So number 19, Merry and Bright. All right, gang, that is day 19 in the bag. We are so close to Christmas. It is terrifying. I'm not ready yet. But until tomorrow, I hope that you have a wonderful evening and happy holidays. And cheers to all.